Hey friend, Chris here from WhyLogicProRules.com, the website that helps you get the most you can out of Apple's Logic Pro. Today I want to show you how to navigate Logic's mixer faster. In fact, I want to show you 4 different ways that you can dramatically speed up trying to locate different channel strips, both in the mixer and also in the inspector. And what I mean by that is, let's just say you have, in this case, we have a guitar track, right? And we have a bus assignment for this guitar track that's turned off right now, but we have a bus assignment, we have an output assignment that we have set. And when you dig into the mixer, when you're working on a project where you have been spending a lot of time producing or recording or mixing, the project can balloon in size and you can start to navigate around the mixer and see just so many channel strips, right? So many assignments, so many plugins. And in this case of our guitar, we have bus 6. So then we have to go find where bus 6 is sending to. So if we hover our mouse over bus 6, Logic will tell us, okay, this send field, send number 1 is sending to bus 6, which is what I've called a dark reverb. So then we have to go navigating to the right-hand side of the mixer. And we have to, okay, what were we looking for? I think it was bus 6. Let me just double check though. Yeah, bus 6. All right. So that's that dark reverb. And the point being is that sometimes when you're in a flow state of mixing or producing, when you work your way down to that end of the mixer, you can end up forgetting what you're looking for to begin with. And it just kind of kills the whole creative state. So I want to show you 4 different ways to dramatically speed up identifying the signal flow for different channel strips. So this is a project, part of an album that I'm writing and producing with my friend Ben. It's coming out in October, and I'll clue you in as we get closer to that date. But I'll show you a quick snippet. I've muted the vocals for now. I'll show you a quick snippet of just this kind of haunted album that we're writing. Take a listen, and then we'll dig in. Okay, cool. So let's first bring our attention to the inspector on the left-hand side in Logic Pro. Of course, if you go up to the control bar and click on the I button in the upper left-hand corner, that introduces or hides the inspector. And the inspector provides so much for us, but in this particular context, it's really helpful because you can select any track in your project and you will see that particular track's channel strip on the left-hand side, plus usually the output of that channel strip. So in the case of this guitar, it is sending to an output of bus 10, which is a track stack. You can see right here. And we see that output right here for the track stack. In the inspector, right there and then you have so much opportunity. You can pull up a plugin, where you see fit, or you can add plugins or adjust the routing or panning or anything else for the output. But sometimes you may want to work with the send assignments on a channel strip in the inspector, or you want to specify something in particular. Now you can do that by clicking on the bus assignment, which brings up, in this case, our dark reverb. So we don't have to go in the mixer at all. We just click on that assignment. But what I find kind of annoying is that when you click on it, it brings up this menu over and over again. So then if we want to redirect our attention back to the output, there's that menu again. It's kind of annoying. In this case, I want to just show you that if you hold Shift and you click on these different assignments that you've created, holding Shift doesn't bring up the menu. It just changes the focus of the secondary channel strip in the inspector, right? So if I hold Shift and click on the output, now we're focused on the track stack output. If we hold Shift and click on the send assignment, now we're focused on bus 6, without bringing up that menu each and every time. And so if we bring up another send assignment, let's just maybe send this to a delay, we can now switch, the orientation to any one of these by holding Shift very quickly. And I find that very helpful. Number 2 on our list is we're going to dig into the mixer, pop open that mixer, and let's bring our attention back to that guitar track. And we have these send assignments we've created, the output. But like I mentioned earlier, navigating through the mixer and trying to find bus 6 or bus 15 can be kind of a pain. It can really kill your flow state. So once again, and if there's anything you take away from this video, I hope this is the one thing that you take away. If you hold Shift and click on one of these assignments for the sends or for the outputs, hold Shift, click on bus 6, Logic will highlight 3 times the corresponding aux. So in this case, there's our dark reverb for the guitar track. So let's do this again with the other send assignment. So in this case, I'm looking at this organ, bus 1 or bus 2, hold Shift, click on bus 2, which is to a large room reverb, flashes 3 times, there it is. That was a recent addition in the last couple of years of Logic updates, and that single-handedly has improved my workflow in the mixer dramatically. And this also works for outputs as well. So in this case, the stereo output, hold Shift, click, there's the stereo output. That's always easy to find. Let's try to identify where bus 14 is. Click, there it is. Number 3 in our list actually has been out in the open all of this time in the mixer. If you go to the top of the mixer here, we have different tabs called single, tracks, and all. And the tracks view is what most of us are pretty much used to, as you see every channel strip for every track in your project and then some, right? And then we have this tab for all, which shows you even more. And I think the all tab is very helpful when you are trying to find the metronome in your projects, because there is a metronome channel strip. Of course, we'd have to dig pretty far into this. There it is. But this provides you with every single channel strip that's available in your project, whether you know it or not. But then we have this view called single. So if we select any particular track in our project, let's select that guitar track. And if we click on single in the mixer, Logic, instead of showing us every single channel strip in our project, it's going to show us instead only the channel strips that are associated with the selected track in your tracks area. So in this case, with the guitar track, we can take a look and we see we have these send assignments to bus 6 and bus 15. Take a look. There's bus 6 to the dark reverb, bus 15 to the delay. Our output is set to bus 10. Well, look at that. There's bus 10 for the guitar track stack output. And then, of course, the stereo output is part of the signal chain because every one of these, reverb, delay, and the track stack send to the stereo output. So there it is. So if we select a different type of track, in this case, let's select one of these alchemy patches. Once again, pop it open. We only see the alchemy patch in the stereo output because there are no reverb sends, nothing going to anywhere else, no track stacks, just the output to the stereo output, right? So now if we select, let's say, the guitar track stack and pop this open, and actually, let's go to this track stack, the end track stack, because I have these cool alchemy and guitar patches that I've bounced in place that kind of ramp down with the slow-mo fade out. So if you see right here for fades under the more tab, I've set it instead of fade out to slow down. So we get this kind of like tape slowing down. Which is super cool. So if we select that track stack, open the mixer, we see the selected track stack from our tracks area and every channel strip associated with that track stack. So that includes the guitars, that includes the synths that I bounced in place, that includes the reverb send, so bus 6, and of course the stereo output. And of course, if you select any of the channel strips in your project, things can get a little screwy. But in that case, we can make adjustments to these channel strips in this view, in the singular view. Okay, let's change this back to tracks. Let me back up a hair. And the last thing I want to show you is how you can quickly identify what channel strips are sending to which auxiliary channel strip. So in this case, obviously, we have different reverbs and delays, some of which I didn't create. It just kind of came automatically with a patch from the library. But maybe I need to know what channel strips in this project are sending to bus 15, right? Maybe it's just this vocal track, but maybe there's other stuff as well. And instead of us having to slide across the mixer and take a look at who's sending what to where, instead, we can go to the Sends on Faders option at the top of the mixer. And from the dropdown, we can select, okay, I want to take a look at who is sending to bus 15. Select, and from this view, only the channel strips that have this gold capped fader are the channel strips that are sending to bus 15. Sends on faders is awesome because it allows you to adjust the send level of a send, not from the little dial in the send field, but instead using the faders, so for higher resolution. But it's also helpful for identifying, oh, okay, so this channel strip is also sending to bus 15. And if we zoom around, okay, nobody else, just those two channel strips. Let's choose something like bus 12. And we take a look, okay, this Mellotron has a send field set up for bus 12. And if we keep going down, okay, some of the organs as well. So this is really helpful just to identify who's sending stuff where when it comes to sends and auxes. And if you don't see this at the top of the mixer in your version of Logic, this is really dependent on screen real estate. So in this case, my screen can accommodate this drop-down field for sends on faders. If you're working on a MacBook, you might not see this. In that case, let's just turn this off for now, and we can see all our faders come back. In that case, you would click on a bus assignment to bring up the drop-down for selecting buses or outputs, but at the very bottom, we have this option for sends on faders. And when you select that, we can see that we have clicked on the bus 13 assignment for the vocals. When we click on sends on faders, it brings up only bus 13 assignments across the project. So there it is. So if we select bus 12, sends on faders, we see only the bus 12 assignments across the mixer. So we can see that one, and we can see 4 channel strips are associated and sending potentially sound to bus 12, which is, again, the send assignment for a small chamber reverb. And then, of course, you would click again, click on sends on faders to disable this view, and then we're back to our faders of our mixer. And there you have it. I just wanted to show you those 4 ways of navigating the mixer and the inspector because projects get big, When you're in a process of creating and recording and you're throwing stuff against the canvas to see what sticks, the projects can balloon in size and, it can just be cumbersome navigating through the mixer over and over, trying to identify, okay, what is sending to bus 12? Where's that output? And so these 4 tips will dramatically speed up your workflow and just make it much more enjoyable to mix, to produce, to record. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. If it was, as always, I highly recommend subscribing to the channel, Why Logic Pro Rules, or subscribing on the website itself, whylogicprorules.com. Every week I'm posting new videos, emails, and posts to help you get the most you can out of Apple's Logic Pro. Thanks so much.